Hello and welcome to GlitchCube. We're a gaming podcast, and each week we take a deeper look into the art of video games. As always, I'm Christian.
And I'm Chris.
And welcome back, everybody. Thank you guys for joining us once again as we dive further into the world of games. So we have some interesting updates for you guys. Game Pass has dropped a couple of giant games that I'm like super stoked on right now, and I've been playing through those. And I'm actually downloading another one right now, so we'll definitely talk about that pretty soon here. But like Game Pass once again is killing it, in my opinion. Like they're crushing it, honestly. But we have some other great little updates, and then something to look forward to as well. A little hint, another reminder: we have our book club gaming thing that we were doing, right? And the first one, we both completed the game. We're not going to be talking about it today, but we will be discussing it a full episode next week for you guys to check out on. So be on the lookout for that. But yeah, let's just jump right into this. So what are you playing, man? What's got you, or what is taking all of your time?
Oh man, I've been jumping around because, you know, for me, Dragon Warrior 7 comes out on the 5th, so I've been trying to find stuff from my list to fill that time that are not super long. So I've been trying to knock out the smaller stuff on this list. But so a while back, honestly, for a long time, I've had Diablo 4 on my list, my hard drive. And I remember when this came out, well, I guess it was a little bit afterwards, because I remember buying it very, very cheap and playing for maybe like 10 hours. And I was just like, you know what? This is not for me. I put it away. I was done, sold it, got my money back, and I was done. And then they dropped it free on the PlayStation Plus, and my buddy was like, "Oh, I'm getting into this. Like, let's play it together." And I was like, "Okay, I'll give it another shot."
Yeah,
because back in the day, I only ever played Diablo with someone, so you know, being solo before that kind of sucked.
I feel like that's the best way to play Diablo, because that's how we played it too. I remember Diablo 2. That's what we did. Like my buddies and I, we just played constantly, right? Like this was. Actually, Diablo 2 was the first game that I started really getting into, like, hacking and, like, messing with the game and doing all that stuff and learning about, like, the seedy underground of gaming where, like, I can sell shit I made up online for money on eBay, right? Like, oh, here's this crazy magical armor set for $50, and people were actually, like, buying that crap. But it was, like, something that a freshman in high school just put together, right? It was so weird. It was such a weird thing, but it was so much fun, like learning about that and just kind of exploring this with my buddies. Like Diablo has a really special place in my heart, and I haven't gone back to it, and I definitely want to now.
Yeah, and you know, for me, this is weird. A lot of my playtime before that was in 3. Back in the day, I played a little bit of a 2, but I didn't have anyone to play with, and I was like, yeah, this is okay. And I fell off of it. I do want to go back to it. I've been thinking about adding it to my list, which keeps growing, but it's like, I'm making a side list to it, right? Because I want to beat the initial list that I mentioned in that episode, but I'm making another list in case I finish that list. So, because I plan on doing that. Anyway, so Diablo 4. It's, I think the story is a lot more interesting looking in this one than 3. The cutscenes are amazing. The story, honestly, like, I just kind of lost interest halfway through, but because I was playing with someone, it was more fun just to go around and see numbers and make everything go splat. Like, it was really cool doing that. And I had a lot of fun playing with my buddy, enough to where we bought the DLC, the Vessel of Hatred, because basically I didn't get the game, right? It was on Plus, so I was like, okay, I'll pay for the DLC. And I had fun. I think total, I looked at my time, I think I got like 60 hours into it. And am I going to go back to it after beating the DLC? I don't think so. Like, I know there's the end game and there's stuff to do, but it's just, it almost felt like I had to push myself to get through the game.
Right.
And
if it wasn't with a buddy, it probably wouldn't be the same. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't have done it if I didn't have a buddy to play it through. And it's more so it was just nice having someone to talk to and run through this stuff. Because before that, it just Diablo 4 in a weird way, like I know there's different regions and stuff, so things look a little different, but everything also still looked kind of the same.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like at least in Diablo 3, I know a lot of people didn't like it because it was brighter, but I felt like there were areas that looked vastly different, if I'm remembering right. So I was more interested in it back then. Plus the story was short, so you could easily keep replaying it.
Right.
In this one, the story is very long. But, the DLC, I really liked that. I thought the story was kind of fun and the area was more interesting. But, I was kind of thinking over it like, did I really have fun with this game? And, if I didn't have someone to play with, no. Like for me, it would be, this is going to sound harsh, but a 2 out of 5 if I didn't have someone with me.
Yeah.
And this is, for me, I know you can get deep into the skills and stuff and go crazy with your builds. And, I love doing that in these kind of games. But when I think of like really good action RPGs that I think like Grim Dawn or stuff like that, or like Van Helsing, or not Van Helsing, but it's the Helsing one that came out a long time ago. But
right.
Like I do like these kind of games, but I just feel like I like being able to do a lot of different stuff with my builds and classes, and I know you can in this, but Diablo always seemed, at least after 3, like the more casual approach to the genre, which is nice, right? It's a good stepping in point to the genre, I think. And I think this game tried to get a little deeper with it. Obviously not on the levels of like Path of Exile, but to me, it almost felt like a little too simple. And it makes me want to play more. I've been thinking about, I should do Titan Quest or other games in the genre, because I do have kind of an itch for it. It's just the story in a lot of these games is not super compelling. And when the story is not too great, then I'm like, I need a buddy to talk to or play with to make it fun.
And I feel like if the story isn't that great, then the combat loop needs to be really, really good to supplement that. And I feel like Diablo, it falls into the same trope after a while. Like you find your build and then you just repeat over and over and over and over again, right? Because it's just endless mobs.
That's what happened.
And like if you're playing alone, that's kind of boring after a while. Like unless you're playing like a necromancer and you have like a little army with you, like it's time consuming and tedious, right? But it's just the same button click. So, oh, here's the mob. Let me hit this spell. Okay, now this one, then this one. Like it's just like a chain order, right? And then you just kind of rinse and repeat every single time you go and encounter a new mob, which is like every 10 seconds. But like it's just repeating that same loop over and over again.
Yeah, and that's kind of like my class wasn't super interesting. I was a barbarian, so it was melee focus. Like it was fine. It did the job. My buddy was a mage of that sort, so it was always clearing the area, and I'm like, that's really cool. I want to just clear areas rather than focusing on the single damage. But it balanced each other out. But I think also I'm guilty of this, where and this also kind of will be my other little segue to another little game I've been playing. Is I guess I'm spoiled in the sense that I really like Vampire Survivor kind of games where it's not twin stick, but it's that kind of like big numbers, full screen, walking around, shooting spells.
Right.
And I've been playing Halls of Torment. It was gifted to me. And it looks like Diablo. When you look at it, it looks like Diablo 2, right? On purpose. It really looks like from that era. And I'm enjoying this game a lot more than I thought I would. So I really love Vampire Survivors. And I do love the genre. I love this kind of genre a lot. It's just a lot of people started copying what made Vampire so good, but then made the games barely different, barely different enough to justify paying more. But with this game, it's, because it's more Diablo looking, I feel like there's a lot more to it, right? Like you pick up equipment in it, you pick up different abilities to add, so instead of like Vampire Survivors where you're picking up, boomerangs or garlic to have that radial kind of damage, you have that kind of here too, where you have a radial spear, you have little orbs that fly around you. And
or if you're a Stump fan out there, for anyone that's listening to this real quick, don't mean to butt in, when he mentions the garlic, he actually means truck nuts. So yeah, just throwing that out there.
I mean, they do look nuts.
They look
garlic
like
always
nuts.
Going to look like nuts.
It looks like truck nuts, like the shit you hang from the back of your truck. And every time, like they would, because I've watched a lot of Vampire Survivors and then playing through it, like 4-player versions.
Mm-hmm.
And every time they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna be the old man with the truck nuts." So it's just like it's
funny. OP.
Yeah,
like
it really is.
Garlic in that game is just, if you max it, like I've always had success with it. In this game, it's very toned down.
Okay.
Yeah, like in Halls of Torment, it's good even if you like do a really high level, but it's not like in Vampire where like it's just like melting people.
Right.
But I like this. I like the loop of it. I like the getting equipment, possibly getting it sent up so you can save it for your next run. There's different classes than you unlock that it feels a little slower to unlock stuff compared to Vampire, but that's because Vampire has so much in it.
Right.
This game does have quite a bit, but it takes more work to unlock, which I kind of like. And I'm really liking this game a lot. I think at first I was kind of like, I don't know if I like this aesthetic. Like it's kind of the same old everywhere. But if people out there looking for a game like Vampire Survivors but want something a little different, I think this is really good. I know that this genre, Mega Bonk's another one that's really cool. That's a 3D one where you can jump. Right. But yeah, I'm a sucker for this genre because I love twin stick shooters.
The new one coming out, Vampire Crawlers. How do you feel about that? Have you watched any videos on that?
I have not.
Okay. The opening trailer, it's pretty awesome. So it's Vampire Survivors, but it's the card game. And it looks like...
I have heard of that.
The loop looks amazing. The artwork is exactly just Vampire Survivors, which is great, right? And it's... I don't know, like there's something about it should be coming out this year. And I mean, I love card games and I have played a lot of Vampire Survivors as well. I mean, I feel like who hasn't at this point, right? Like it's just, there's something about it where it's just kind of like turn your brain off and it's kind of amazing. And like the hidden synergies and everything like that. But like, I'm kind of digging this new card game aesthetic. It looks like a classic dungeon crawler where like it's, like you press forward to move forward through the area and then you end up playing cards whenever you interact with enemies to then cause damage, right? And you pick up different cards, which are the different items from Vampire Survivors itself. So I don't know, there's something pretty cool about it. I like the visual, so I'm really looking forward to this one actually. I have a feeling this is going to be a
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
there's one more Survivor game I'm keeping an eye on. It's not out yet, but it's called Antivirus Survivors 2003 Professional. And basically, it's Vampire Survivors, but instead, the play field looks like an old Windows screen from like the early 2000s, so like XP era. But it's like, there's WinRAR file icons, you got the minefield, like it's Minesweeper fields going on, like I don't know. It's something different.
Pretty fun. It's Vampire Survivors, but replace all the icons with the old Windows icons, basically.
Yeah.
Like your character is your mouse. Like you're moving around there. That's actually really funny. I like that a lot. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It even has like
I love
which
XP.
Windows is that?
So
That's Windows XP, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
They even have like Clippy stuff. Oh my gosh. That's hilarious. They even have the DVD like bouncing. Oh my god.
That's probably like their version of Garlic.
That is so funny. Okay. I'm very, very much looking forward to this now too because that just looks so silly. Wow. Oh, you can join the playtest. You can request access right now.
I should do that.
Yeah, on Steam.
That'd be fun.
Set it up. Request access. Let's go. That's pretty.
What have you been playing though?
Oh man, so I've been working on the book club stuff, so I'm really excited to talk about that next week. But the other one that kind of like it fell into my lap, honestly. I've been wanting to play this game for so long, but I could just never justify the $60 that it cost for it, right? Because I've heard so many mixed things about this game. But luckily, like I said in the beginning of this episode, Game Pass like really came through, and Star Wars Outlaws is now on Game Pass. And oh man, like I knew I would like this game because Star Wars is I love Star Wars. Don't get me wrong. Like I've grew up with it, right? Like I've watched every single movie. Like I've watched a lot of the shows. I really enjoy Star Wars, that universe. And just seeing, like, I've even recreated droids from that in like my classes for robotics and stuff, like, right? Like I love this stuff. I think it is really fascinating. But I started to kind of like realize that the parts of the world that I find more interesting are everything that has to do, or anything that doesn't have a Jedi in it. I think is more interesting. Like the political espionage that goes on in the background, like the bounty hunters, they're so fascinating, right? Like just the worlds that are there that don't have to do with anything like, oh, chosen one this or whatever it may be, right? Like there's something special about the Star Wars universe and how vast it is that they can tell stories about almost anybody there. And Star Wars Outlaw, I think, does such a great job. Like I really am enjoying this game a lot. Like the combat it's simple, but it is a lot of fun. It's really fun being able to kind of like sneak around and, send out your little guy Nix to like go at your weird little salamander pet and go and like steal things. Or like I think it has just the right amount of like comedic humor in there to keep you playing without it taking itself too seriously, right? And I think that's any good Star Wars story does that. Even Mandalorian had humor in it, right? Even though it was a very serious story. Like they're able to balance those two different storytelling tropes very well. And like I will say, like whenever you tell Nix to go and distract an enemy, him playing dead is the cutest thing in the world. Where like I just love it. I love it so much. And like the upgrades are very interesting. I love the fact that you can even get new like costume changes because I'm a sucker for that. I ended up just kind of like not focusing on the main story because I was getting distracted by the world that they drop you in, and it is gorgeous to look at. It's amazing that they give you a speeder bike right off the bat to just drive around like crazy. And I spent like 6 hours before I even went into my ship to go up into space. And now like that I flew around in space and did a couple little battles real quick, and you're able to like actually like search other areas and scavenge from like things that are, like destroyed up there and all that stuff. Like the space travel is so seamless and so clean. Like I don't know, there's something about it that's just like so well done. I know that when you first brought it up, you mentioned that there were some parts where like it's stealth only, and if you get caught then you get kicked out, right? And I think that they removed those aspects from this game now.
They did.
Okay.
So they made it a lot more friendly where, before you would have to do stealth, and if you failed, you'd have to do that over again.
Got it. Okay. So I'm very, like, I guess I'm very lucky that I didn't have to deal with it originally, because I can't imagine that. There's been a couple times where, like, you get spotted and you're like, oh, crap. But, like, you can always fight your way out. And I think that's kind of the nice thing about this is that, like, with the new update to it, like, the changes that they made, you're not punished for accidentally standing in a spot too long, right? I will say, like, some of the AI and stuff is pretty stupid. Like, the fact that they just walk over a body, I'm like, yeah, okay. Sometimes I'm just like, yeah, that doesn't really make any sense, especially for something that needs to be this stealthy, right? If they're really like trying to play that up. But you kind of forgive it because there's so much to do in the worlds that like they can't put all of that in, right? Because then this game would be hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours, right? But
Yeah.
what I do really enjoy is like some of the simpler aspects where, you know, you can go up to a railing and there's an option to just lean on the railing. And sometimes when you do that, it just kind of creates like a photo opportunity where like you're looking out at the scenery, and it's amazing to just look at what they created. But then sometimes whenever you lean, like it does give like a really cool like picture moment. And then you'll hear like conversations in the background, right? And those conversations will actually get you information for new missions or maybe a mission you're currently on, right? Like it is a really cool concept there, because the whole point of this game, for those of you guys that don't know, is that like you are like, what is Nyx? Like she, or what is the character? Like she is bounty hunter, outlaw, right? Like
Outlaw, like scoundrel. I think that's what they kind of call it.
Okay. Just, yeah, scoundrel. Just trying to scavenge and, you know, looking for the next job to pay the bills kind of thing, right? Like, that's kind of the whole premise of it. And so you end up falling in line with, like, the CD underground of Star Wars, where, like, you are actually working with, like, syndicate bosses. And, like, you take jobs from them. And as you start working with the bosses, then, like, you get, you know, in favor with some, but in order to, you know, boost your support of one syndicate, you might have to then backstab another. So it's a constant balance between these things where it's like, okay, I can do this job, but I'm going to piss off these people, right? And I like that aspect because it's very real world, right? Like you're not going to have perfect marks with everybody. That doesn't make sense, right? Like, because you're constantly stealing from one another because you're like in that middle ground between all of them. So like you're stealing from one person that you just did a job for to then just take that information and bring it over to the other faction because like, oh, well, that faction is going to, you know, open up some new jobs this way or whatever it is. And maybe you like the gear better, right? Like there's some really cool aspects there. So I'm having a lot of fun just like exploring this world right now, going through the balancing of it and just seeing what happens. But like, it's gorgeous. Like the world is so well fleshed out. I don't know. Like, I know that there were some complaints, especially early on, with like the look of the main character, but I just think that's so stupid. She looks fine, right? Like she kind of reminds me, like she's got the similar haircut to like early Sigourney Weaver, right? Like she just looks like a badass. Like she doesn't need to be like this blonde, like perfect, right? Like she's fine. Like I still don't understand. It
reminds me of like what you would see in maybe like the 70s, right? And someone, my buddy brought it up because he was the one who talked me into actually picking this game up back. You know, we spoke about it before. I think it was last year, and he was like, it feels very much like a Star Wars, like from like the 70s, right? Like the older Star Wars, the feel of it, everything. And I can see it. And I remember praising this game when I played it last time, but I didn't get super deep into really talking about it because since then it's had like 2 DLCs. And because when I bought it, I actually got the gold edition for like, I don't know, $40. So it was like cheap. So I got the season pass and was able to play through the DLC. And this game is awesome. You know, it got crapped on when it first came up because not only was the stealth bad, but the performance was really bad on like every platform. And those two combined basically made people drop off of it and lose total interest. But this game is really cool. You know, I think there were definitely times on each kind of planet where I was kind of like, oh my God, can I go to the next one already? But overall, like the story was really enjoyable, right? You're getting a collection of people for a heist, and I think it's told and done very well. I think the DLC, the first one, so the gambling one, that one's really cool. I really like that DLC. The second one, I didn't really care for it too much because it just kind of felt like more of the same. But the main story is enjoyable, right? The planets are all beautiful and they're huge. Like you think the first planet's huge, wait till you see later ones. Like, it's fascinating how big they made these worlds. And one of them is small. It was like the first one I went to after you leave, but the other ones are just gigantic. And I love the different syndicates, the different like notoriety with them. I love how it balances and plays, and I think it's done really well. The upgrade system is really cool, and I think overall, like, it was such an enjoyable game. And I know people have come around to it now, where people are starting to say good things about it, and I think being on Game Pass, more people are giving it a shot.
Right.
Which is good, because I think it deserves it. Yeah. Because, like you said, it's nice playing a Star Wars game where you're not a Jedi. And I know, like, I was going to say pre-Knights of the Old Republic, but I mean, a lot of old Star Wars, you weren't a Jedi, right? When you look at Dark Forces or Shadow of the Empire, like, you played as people other than, having a lightsaber, which is cool, and I think nowadays people are more open to that, right? Like, definitely you have your people that want to play as a Jedi, but I think given the option of being someone who is just your random average person makes it compelling, because you don't really see the Star Wars world from that kind of perspective. And I think
they're not going to show a Jedi gambling or stealing or all that kind of stuff, right? Like, the Jedi need to be seen as kind of like righteous, right? But that's not this world. Like, they are righteous in a world that is filled with just the best word I can think of right now is like filth, right? Like, it's just it's a bad place. It's very imbalanced, like, with the different forces trying to take over, and right, like, the money is always going to the top and things like that, right? Like, it's very interesting to see those things. But whenever you play a game where you're a Jedi, the only focus you have is like save the universe, right? It's not just like, how do I survive this crazy ass world or galaxy that I live in, right? Like, I think that's what makes Outlaws kind of special, is that it feels so grounded. And what I've really enjoyed is like just seeing the towns and kind of just watching NPCs and the world around you. Like, it feels very lived in. Right? Like, this definitely feels like one of those games where you can just sit back and watch, and like people are going to go and like eat their dinner, or, like, go talk to each other, right? Like, or just like things like that, right? Where like there's so much going on around you. It doesn't feel empty at all. Like, no matter where you're at in this world. So I'm excited.
I'm excited to hear your thoughts on it once you get more through it. Like, it's really fun.
Yeah, I can't wait, man. And the fact that there's a couple DLCs waiting for me already, I'm like, uh-oh. But I think that's what's kind of nice about this, too, is like, I feel like this is the perfect way to set up a Star Wars game where they can throw in so much DLC to this game, where it just like keeps going, right? Like, what if she does end up meeting up, where like, maybe, like, or I don't know, like, I feel like they can like really do tie-ins. They can drop in a lot more characters that they haven't done already, as far as like connecting the universe, right? Like, didn't they do the thing with like a Lando already, right? Like, that was the first one. The first DLC was that, is he in like Lando Calrissian?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why it's really cool.
See, like, that's awesome. Like, do more stuff like that, right? Where it's like, okay, well, like, because Lando was shady, right? Like, he turned on them and then kind of went back. So like, he was playing both sides at the same exact time. And I think that's what the whole vibe of this game is just, it's just survival, man, right? So like, you have to be playing both sides. You have to be looking out for number one at all times. So yeah, no, it's fun, dude. I'm super stoked to be able to play it through this one. And I think now that it's out on Game Pass, people are going to go crazy for it and realize, oh, this was a really good game. And I think a lot more people are going to be playing it. And I think there's going to be a lot more new things being added to it. it has that same thing that happened with like Cyberpunk, right? Where like when it first came out, it flopped horribly because of the same exact reasons, performance and like some gameplay issues. And then that update came out with Phantom Liberty, and it's like, holy shit, this game is phenomenal. And I think this is like Outlaws like resurgence right now. It being on Game Pass and like people realizing like, oh no, this was actually a lot of fun. It's not your typical Star Wars game. I love it, right? So no.
Yeah.
Super stoked for this one, but we'll see. All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for us this week. I hope you guys have enjoyed this little conversation we've had here today. We've talked about quite a few different kinds of games, but once again, just a simple reminder, for those of you listening this week, don't forget to check out our episode next week, especially if you've been playing along too. And if you've been playing along with us, because we've mentioned it every week so far for our book club game of the month here, it is Eco. We're going to be doing a full episode of that because we both got through it. And it's going to be a fun one because there's a lot to talk about with this. I mean, just a little teaser here, but like, I mean, come on, the storyline, how it wraps up. Like, Ueda is an amazing game designer, and the way that it matches up with Shadow of the Colossus, Last Guardian, Eco, like these 3 games over all this time seem to carry a very interesting connection, and there's so many underlying It's gonna be a lot of that in next week's episode, so be sure to check it out. But anyway, we'll talk to you guys next week with some more games and all that good stuff. But until then, bye for now.